makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part.
Britain's talk shows are still absolutely obsessed with Insulate Britain. That is the activist group that is a kind of a spin-off of Extinction Rebellion, and they have been notorious in recent weeks, rather months, by blocking key roads around London. They've blocked the M25, which is the orbital expressway around London, and they've also blocked numerous busy streets inside the city itself. So they've gotten a lot of notoriety, and it's kind of the type of notoriety that, you know, these like stupid breakfast shows love, you know, because the wine moms who watch them are indignant that the road that they need to drive in to buy more wine might get blocked by someone who's actually concerned about the climate. Now, personally, and I said this because I've made another video, I don't think this is really the best strategy. I think they should do. I'm not against, you know, disruptive protest, high impact disruption. I have nothing against it. But I do think it should be focused on, you know, it does generate inconvenience for people who otherwise might support them. And I do think that they should take their disruption to, centers of power, so to speak, or centers of economic power. You know, disrupt the roads around a big polluting company in London. I would be totally in favor of that. But as it is, I do think that what they have done is very important. And insulation of homes is not really something that a lot of people took seriously in terms of the impact on climate change. And I do think that ever since Insulate Britain appeared, and I know their name sounds a bit like an anti-immigration group, you know, Insulate Britain from the brown people. But no, in fact, I do think they've added an element to the debate on climate change that is quite important. And, you know, I'm not a climate expert, I'll be honest. If you had asked me what would be the main measures to combat climate change in a country like Britain, what are the top 3 or 4? I probably would not have mentioned home insulation. But now that they've appeared, now that everyone knows what they're about, I do think that people are a bit more conscious about that. So in some ways, they have succeeded. Anyway, enough talk. They appeared on TalkRadio, which is a far right, I will say it. It's a far right talk show, YouTube talk show. They're absolutely just despicable. And they've had them on numerous occasions. Usually they try to ridicule them. Usually they try to embarrass them or blame them for, that woman who had a stroke on the M25 once, which, by the way, no news organization in Britain ever bothered to verify if that was a true story or not. But anyway, this snippet is brilliant because the degree of, well, I'll show you the video and then I'll explain why there's a massive lack of self-awareness after it. But it's the biggest self-own that you will see today, and probably the funniest thing you'll see today.
Morning, Mike.
Oh, hello. What are you glued to, Cameron?
Just your screen, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. What do you do for a living, Cameron?
I'm a carpenter.
A carpenter, right. So how safe is that for the climate?
Well, I work with timber, which is a much more sustainable material rather than concrete. I also
But you work with trees that have been cut down then, don't you?
It's a sustainable building practice.
How is it sustainable if you're killing trees?
Because it's regenerative, you can grow trees.
Right. Well, you can grow all sorts of things, can't you?
Well, you can't grow concrete.
You can. See you, Cameron. Cheerio. That was Cameron. He grows trees and then cuts them down and then makes things from them. Brilliant. Marvellous. I don't think I ever want to talk to any of those people.
What the fuck? Seriously, this is the biggest self-own that you could possibly imagine. How stupid, like, how does he think that, like, I mean, first of all, he is aware that he just got owned, and then he cuts the interview, and then says, like, what kind of a business model is this where you know, cut trees and I guess plant them again and they grow? You know, a sustainable business model that has existed now for I don't know, a couple thousand years, I would say, give or take. This is insane. Insane. How can he have gone to this interview with like, this is going to be my talking point. This is going to be my gotcha. You cut trees. I'm going to own you in this debate by calling you out on cutting trees that can grow back again. Seriously. If I was the producer of this show, I'd have fired his ass. Like after this, I'd be like, seriously? Dude, bring your fucking A game. Everyone's watching. But anyway, the reason that I mentioned at the beginning is that there's a complete lack of self-awareness. Is not only are they, you know, they're showing this video on their YouTube site, sorry, on their Twitter, as if, oh my God, he owned him so bad. The interview lasted less than a minute. The other guy must have quit, rage quit. And then they like, watch more Insulate Britain fails. Dude, who on earth thinks this was a fail on anyone else but Mike Graham? And that's not the worst part. Here's the real, and you probably might have spotted it, by the way. What's the real evidence of their lack of self-awareness? They freaking pinned it. If you go to the TalkRadio Twitter site, that's their pinned video. Why? Why? Imagine if I was in a debate and I got like thoroughly owned, so much that I rage quit after a minute, and then I decided to make that video the one that is like promoted on my YouTube channel, the one that appears above all the others. Imagine if I did that. Please, if I ever do that, unsubscribe to my channel. I would, you know, there's clearly something, I must have some neurological deficit. But yeah, this is hilarious, just absolutely hilarious. Yeah, so, oh God, let's just watch this again. This is so good.
Morning, Mike.
Oh, hello. What are you glued to, Cameron?
Just your screen.
Oh, by the way, the reference to being glued is because they've been gluing themselves to the streets or to lamppost. I don't know. But yeah, that was the glue reference.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. What do you do for a living,
Well,
Cameron?
I'm a carpenter.
A carpenter, right. So how safe is that for the climate?
Well, I work with timber, which is a much more sustainable material rather than concrete. I also
But you work with
retrofit.
trees that have been cut down then, don't you?
It's a sustainable building practice.
How is it sustainable if you're killing trees?
Because it's regenerative, you can grow trees.
Right.
I just love that he doesn't, like, his face just doesn't change at all. He's completely serious. I wonder what's going on in his mind and whether it's, he can't seriously think this is a gotcha, right? Like, I think maybe that's the reason why he's not laughing. Like, this can't be that stupid a question. When someone asks you something that's just so stupid, you're caught like what the hell is, you can't really respond emotionally.
Well, you can grow all sorts of things, can't you?
Well, you can't grow concrete.
You can.
And this is the best, like the face of the guy is the best because he's freaking stumped right there, and it's all his fault. He has no one to blame but himself for just bringing such shitty talking points and such a shitty gotcha to what could have been perhaps a more challenging exchange with the other guy.
See you, Cameron. Cheerio. That was Cameron. He grows trees and then cuts them down and then makes things from them. Brilliant. Mark.
God almighty, save us from the right. Just save us from the right. Yeah, like this video, please like, please share. Most importantly, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.